Welcome to an episode of In the Kitchen with GYMDAD Fitness, and today we have with us, this is plant protein, and this is by Project M, and this is a plant-based protein. And I know what you're thinking, is GYMDAD one of these vegan guys that doesn't want to consume anything but plant-based stuff? That is not true. Right here, we got ourselves a good old-fashioned gallon of Midwest, not for human consumption milk. This is research milk right here. So before I get started on this review, this is for your own personal enjoyment. GYMDAD Fitness is not saying to go buy yourself some non-pasteurized milk and drink it. This is for researching. And anyway, so the plant protein, this is not for research. This is a for human consumption product here. And this is some damn good ingredients we have in here. And I'm going to go through it. So before I get into it, why mix dairy product with vegan product? I feel like in today's day and age, I feel like we have to it's like, oh, you gotta be on some sort of carnivore diet, or you gotta be straight vegan where you have nothing but, vegan-based items. So, or maybe fish. I can't remember what that's called, but you have fish too. Or maybe you just eat straight chicken. It's like everyone kind of feels like they have to join some sort of alliance, like we're signing up for a cult. It's like, why can't we just consume nice quantities of all sources of protein? I don't understand why we have to decide okay, are we vegan, are we carnivore, are we going on a straight fish diet or something like that. So for me, I always like to get various aspects of different of the triangle, the food triangle. Let's keep it simple, guys. Let's consume our carbohydrates, our healthy carbs, our healthy fruits. Let's keep it in nice, good quantities and at good timing. I have no license for nutrition. I'm just a gym bro stooge pre-workout reviewer that also has some thoughts on nutrition. So all this stuff, this is coming. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just telling you what I do. And anyway, so for me, I always try to get various sources of protein intake. And that comes the same way when it comes to my shake. So I don't know many people out there that go buy a vegan protein and then go put it in the most Midwest dairy, whole. This is the thickest milk you're gonna find. So find yourself, if you live in the Midwest, you can go outside and probably just holler out loud where the nearest Amish shop is, and you'll find some sort of underground milk place. But a lot of these places, I know many friends that have them close in their town. And actually, I think I ended up stumbling upon the benefits of unpasteurized milk through the bodybuilding.com forums back in the day. Even before Reddit got big, everyone was on the bodybuilding.com forums, and I remember there's always talks about finding unpasteurized milk. And anyway, so that's what we're going to be mixing it with. So we're going to have a good quality, good sourced, get none of that filtered out, none of that heat pressured removal. I couldn't give you guys all the science jargon of what's lost in the process of pasteurizing the milk, but you know how things are. All of our food's kind of like that these days. I'm not going to get into some sort of political spiel on the process of our food and stuff like that, because you can really go down a rabbit hole there. But this is for a protein review, and we are mixing it with that milk. And so let's get to the label breakdown. This is, like I said, this is a Project M. This is their plant protein. This is the chocolate flavor. And the reason why I choose Project M, I'm gonna show you here, because I talk about this is a mid-morning drink. I was actually just getting ready to do my mid-morning drink. Shit, I'm gonna go downstairs and do a quick review. And so this is 2 scoops, 110 calories, 15 from fat, 1.5 fat, 4 carbohydrates. Pretty standard for a plant-based protein. You're gonna get a little carb action. 1 gram of fiber, 1 gram of sugar. Protein 21 grams, vitamin D 11%, iron 1 milligram, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, all very small, minuscule amounts there, but it's kind of like what you see when just daily consumption of protein from these sources. Now, this is where my eyes go to. So first thing with the protein, I look at the cal intake, I look at the sugar, so I'll see if there's anything sneaky in here, any sneaky sugar, any sneaky fat. We see that sometimes with these proteins where you look at the protein and the sugar, but then they put a shit ton of fat, I'm trying to think. I think it was Synthesix by BSN's kind of like that with some of their ice cream Cold Stone flavors. and then some of them put some sneaky sugar in there. So we got no sneakiness going on here. Everything's straightforward. You tell that right away by seeing, I've seen it as lean as like 90 calories to like up to like 200 for like these 20-gram scoops of protein. And so ingredients, the first thing off the bat is this patent ingredient of the Tendra. It's a bean protein isolate. So you got protein isolate there from the bean sources there. And then you have this other patent ingredient, yeastian, which is a fermented natural yeast protein. And then we have cocoa powder after that. And then MCT oil, pretty standard there. Black cocoa powder, apple pectin powder, sea salt, sunflower lucinoids, and then that's pretty standard too. And then stevia extract. So this thing is flavored with stevia, so that's a positive. We love things not containing sucrose when we can. People might say, oh, GYMDAD's putting all these freaking pre-workouts into his body, but yet he's going around saying how I need to have a protein that doesn't have sucrose. Not that I don't drink some proteins with sucrose, but like when you're putting all these different things in your body, if you can find one way to limit it and do something. Just because I take pre-workout sucrose doesn't mean every single thing I consume drink-wise needs to have sucrose in it. So when I can, I try to, especially for like my shakes like that or meal substitutes or meal complements, like sometimes before bed I might end up having just like 4 whole eggs and then a protein shake with it. So not essentially like it's a substitute, it's more of a complement. It's what I call for that one. So that I actually do probably more of that than I do actual like meal substitutes. So if I was to do like a meal substitute, and I have tried this on this before, I'm gonna do 4 scoops of this thing so I get 40 grams of protein. And sometimes on sweetener ones, if you do that kind of strategy, you end up having stomach issues. And even with this one too. And that brings me to my next thing. This isn't a Masscast ad read, but they have 2 really good products, and so I picked it up. They have a digestive enzyme blend. This contains this enzyme blend of a healthy bacteria, and then I can't pronounce these, bromelain, pepperine, and then just all in all, just a really solid product. I'll put the link up for this thing too. But I love taking these digestive enzymes. You're actually supposed to take this one like 30 minutes before having food. 20-30 minutes before a meal, but like we've done before in previous reviews, I will just bust the cap open in my mouth and just let it kind of go down the throat with the protein. I got my shaker right here. So first we will do the whole milk, and then I'll get 2 scoops in. So I actually just ate like a little bit of chicken and a little bit of rice. Like I had kind of like a mini leftover meal left, but it wasn't a full amount. So I'm just gonna do 2 scoops right now. And I have done 4 with the digestive enzyme blend, and it settled really nicely. And no issues whatsoever digestion wise, and feeling it like coming back up or anything like that. So just wanted to note that too for you guys. But like I said, the vegan proteins, just be aware that they're never going to be like absolutely delicious. They always kind of have a little bit more of a chalkier texture, especially when you're mixing these things on the taste too. You're mixing them with this one. There's no sucrose. It's just stevia. And when it comes to sweeteners, monk fruit over stevia for me. But or stevia, whatever the hell you pronounce it. But I've seen some that do a combo. I've seen some with just stevia, some with monk fruit. But those always kind of beat the sucrose sweetener. And so that's kind of like where the first couple things I see that stack up. So I'll just take my digestive enzyme. And like a 1 through 10 on vegan proteins, this thing mixed with milk is it's a good solid 9.5 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Like vegan protein wise, I haven't had much better. Like honestly, like it doesn't, you really can't. I mean, the only one that came close to it was Cage Muscle. I can't remember the name of their thing. It was just called vegan. They had like a banana pie one that was pretty damn good, and that also didn't have sucrose. But as far as no sucrose, no added sugars, things like that. Actually, I think I don't know if that's naturally occurring or if that's 1 gram of added. Well, then the ingredient profile, I don't see any sugars listed. So no, I think this is just a naturally occurring sugar. It doesn't say like 0 added, but we can tell by that by looking at the ingredient profile. But absolutely delicious. More of it's like a brownie batter, like on the lighter side of a brownie batter. And I've had it with water too, and it still is pretty solid water, but it definitely takes a step up. I've had proteins that honestly take steps down when they're mixed with milk. I've had some like fruity cereal ones that actually taste better, like post-workout in the gym with water, than they do mix it with milk at home. For this case, with this vegan one, yeah, it's one of these ones I'm gonna be drinking. I know it's a pea protein isolate, so you could use this thing post workout, but I'm just an old fashioned whey isolate post workout guy. Like that, I always go with that. The vegan shakes for me have always been like the meal replacement ones. It's a way for me to get like a plant based protein meal in. So like you're consuming your dairy protein shake after your workout. You're consuming your red meats, your white meats throughout the day, and it's like not often am I eating much like vegetable based protein. So this is a cool way to kind of add this into the arsenal. But hopefully you guys enjoy this review. It's different, it's unique. It's kind of like almost like a mixture of a review slash kind of like going into the day in the life of what I do and how I operate. But anyway, so these shakes are kind of cool. They're good to have in the bind. Like I said, always say I preach this every single protein review. Real food always wins, but sometimes we need to have a shake because either we are just not feeling, we're not in that real food mood, or so I've kind of get that way sometimes mid morning, or we don't have time and we're on a crunch. I've had situations where I've chucked 2 scoops of this and then hit the road real quick because me and the wife have to go somewhere. So anyway, the stack here was the digestive enzyme blend from Project M and the plant protein from Project M. But shout out to these guys and catch me on the next review.